Hi all, welcome back again. Let's start today with a small puzzle. Let me test how fast you can think. Okay, tell me what does this spelling stands for? S I L K. It's silk, right? S I L K is silk. So do it faster. S I L K silk. S I L K silk. S I L K silk. What do cows drink? If you would have said milk, think again. The right answer is water. I just tricked you. So the trick here was you did not get enough time to think or learn. You were fast, and then when I associated silk with cow, the obvious answer that came to your mind was milk. I just wanted to refresh you, uh, just to tell that whenever you are learning or whenever you are taking a big decision, think slow. That was the tip of the day. Let's start with our usual tutorial. So today I'm going to talk about Assistant API, and instead last time we talked about function uh, knowledge at retrieval. This time we are going to talk about code interpreter. The simple definition of code interpreter is being able to code or being able to ask computer in a natural language. So instead of writing a Python code or instead of writing a C++ code or a Java code, how about we tell computers or OpenAI through natural language and get what we want to do. And the huge application of code interpreter is in data analysis. People are using it very often and very aggressively. So let's take one very nice example that we have. Here is an Excel sheet with me. Let's say this is a fictitious company, Contoso, maybe, yeah, and they did some sales, in and this is our data basically. So if you look at it, it has sold in different segments, different countries, the name of the product, how many units they sold, what was the price, and of course how much was the profit, and it was sold on what days of the year, things like that. And it's a very typical um, data that you will be getting as data analyst or as a lead or as an sales manager and things like that. And you just want to find out more information, like, okay, how much was the sale in Mexico, or how much was the sale in a given month, which product made me most profit, and things like that. So let's see, and if you want to get those answers, of course, you'll have to do a lot of data analysis, and you'll have to know Python and pandas and whatnot through different graphs. And let's try to see if we can achieve the same thing through natural language. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this spreadsheet to our assistant API, and we're going to and ask him to use the tool called as code interpreter and ask the questions. So let's get started. First, I'll try to show you in an user interface which has been provided by um, ChatGPT or OpenAI, and then we'll try to use the API and use it in our Python programming language. Okay, let's go ahead. So here I go to my platform OpenAI, go to assistant tab, and if you see, I do not have any assistant. So let me go ahead and create an assistant for me. So let's call it as manager sales manager or sales assistant. This is assistant. Okay, instruction: you are helpful assistant who knows data analysis and Python programming language. You answer all the questions Okay, let me not use this one. Okay, the model we're going to use it is obviously GPT-4 Turbo, and here we're going to say him that we want to use code interpreter. So this will enable assistant to run some code in the background and give us the answers in terms of either text or graphs. Okay, and I'm going to give him a file that I want him to analyze. So it's exactly the same file that I showed you few minutes ago. Super. So if you see in my files tab, I should be seeing a file here, and under assistant tab I should be able to see an assistant. So, of course, and I want to test it now. Okay, so I can ask it all the relevant questions, um, and those are just going to be your natural language prompts, right? So let me ask him, please explain me financial sample file. Okay, what all analysis I can do with this data, right? They just ask normal question like, okay, uh, what is this file all about, and what all things I can do on it, right? What happened? Did it do or did it not do? Okay, let me do it one more time. Please explain me this financial underscore sample file. What all analysis I can do with this data. Okay, this time let me copy it. Okay, on the right hand side you'll be able to see some logs, but let's not get into that log for now. Okay, okay, it says maybe so it's gonna take the file, it's gonna see what columns it has, what kind of data it has, um, and of course it's gonna tell this is gonna be your potential analysis that you can do it. Okay, good. Wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's trying to do lot many things. Okay, okay. So it says it has so many uh, columns, and with this information you can do various analysis. So I just want to do few questions like, okay, um, I want to know what is an average sale for every quarter or for every year. So let's say what was my average sale per year per per year. Okay, just very simple query. In an Excel sheet you can do it by adding, or in pandas you can do it by grouping and things like that. Of course you will have to know all the functions, you'll have to know all the Python knowledge, and here you can do it without all those hurdles. So let's see if we can get some tables. Calculate the average. Okay, let me see if it is able to do it. Okay, so here um, it was 150K and 175K. Very good. Okay, uh, give me a table uh, of average sale grouped by country per year per quarter. Okay, just very easy questions, and then maybe later on we can try and do some um, questions that will help us do, let's say, uh, um, better analysis, like which product gave me maximum profit, something like that. Okay, it tried to give me a table in latex, most likely. I need to take this and put it into a formatted file, but you're getting it, right? So maybe my next question is going to be, which product was most profitable? Just to answer this question, there has to be a lot of analysis to be done. You know, at least minimum 3 to 5 different queries has to be executed, um, and then we had to come up with an answer. But here, if you see, we straight away got the profit. The most profitable product according to the data set was Paseo. Okay, and this was the profit margins. Super cool. Okay, um, which product had largest profit margins? Profit margins in percentage. Percentage. So profit margin was basically, um, explain me the formula, something like that. I don't know. So it was basically sales price minus purchase price or creation price, and that's how we're gonna get margins, right? The product with the largest average margin was Catera. See? So you're getting my point, right? The point is we really don't have to do a coding. We just got a reply back from code interpreter. And if you see, um, it will tell you what formula it used behind to get our answers. So you can literally use these formulas and run it again. So I hope the use case is quite clear. You can find the power of code interpreter, um, and you can use it best for your purpose. So now the second step would be to not use the OpenAI's UI, but really go and use Assistant API in your programming language. So instead of having just one file, you can run it on thousands and thousands of files of your company and get the appropriate results. Okay, let's start with um, using Assistant API now in our programming language for code interpreter. Of course, we're going to start with importing OpenAI, and we're going to create a client of OpenAI. Okay, so either we can use the current assistant which we created, or we can create a new one. It's better that we use already the current one. Um, the current one is with this particular ID basically. So this is the ID that of assistant we're gonna use it. So here we just gonna say sales assistant. I mean, last time we have already seen the code to create assistant, so I thought this time I will just show you the code to retrieve the assistant. Yeah, let's use that one. Client dot beta dot assistant dot retrieve, and here we need to pass assistant ID. Assistant ID is equal to, okay, yeah, let's see. Yeah, so this is the title, and also I want access to my file. I'm just gonna this is the file ID, right? So financial sample. Okay. Okay. So we have our assistant, we have our file. So I'll just write out the steps. What we need to do. First, what we need to do is have assistant. Uh, then number two is have files. Have assistant in the sense have assistant ID with us. Have file in the sense have file ID. And then third thing is we're gonna do is create thread. So every time we're gonna interact with assistant, we'll have to interact with thread. And then we'll have to kind of do it repetitively is create message or ask a message. And then we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna run it, run the thread. And of course, after running the thread, we are gonna get an output from assistant, right? To get the output from assistant, and then third thing is gonna be display the output, right? And why for ABC is it has to be done in a sequence. Uh, they are considered together as one instance. So for example, I can have two user messages, but I cannot have two uh, times execution of a thread. It has to be message creation and then execution. I cannot say create and run. I can do create and run, but I cannot do two runs. So once I run it, there has to be an interface with user. You'll know what I mean. So, and this basically can be done in a loop. I'm not going to do it in loop, but in real life, it's going to be in loop. So, okay, so we have done this one. Okay, we have done this one. Okay, now we're going to do the third thing. So we're going to just create a thread. So sales thread is equal to client dot beta dot threads dot create. Okay, and then we're gonna message, right? We're gonna create a message is equal to again client dot beta dot thread dot messages dot create. And here what we need to give is thread ID. Thread ID is equal to sales thread dot ID, and then content is equal to, let's ask exactly the same content, right? Oh, oh, it's gone. So, okay, let me ask it only through program. So the content was just explain me the financial file, right? So explain me financial underscore sample file. And I think the next question was what all analysis I can do with this data. And also I can give him role. Role of course is going to be user, and of course I'll have to give the file IDs. File IDs is equal to, right? Okay, let's make it a little bit beautiful or readable, if that is the word. Yeah. Anything else that we should be giving? Let me check. Thread ID, content, role IDs. I think so. We should be good enough. File IDs is not a valid list. Aha, it should be in the list. Super cool. I think it's taking time. That means something is happening there. Oh, okay. Why is it invalid? Okay, sorry. My mistake. Okay, sorry. Okay. So we have created a message now. The next one is we'll have to pass this message. Okay, or we'll have to just run it. So cells run is equal to client dot beta dot threads dot messages no dot runs dot create, and here I'll have to just give thread ID cells thread dot ID and assistant ID is equal to cells assistant dot ID. Anything else I need to give? No, we should be good. And as I said, this execution normally takes a lot of time. So there would be a status given to you, uh, and here the status is given as queued, and then maybe it's going to be in progress, and then after a few seconds it's going to be completed. So it's always a good practice to retrieve the status of this one of the runs. So dot retrieve, and it's gonna just get run ID. It's gonna take run ID. Yeah, run ID. So run ID is gonna be okay. And what we will do is we'll do it in loops of every 5 seconds until the status is completed. So while cells run dot status is not equal to completed, please do this, and time dot sleep for, I don't know, 5 seconds. So we will also have to import time. Let's try to run this. Okay. Of course, I'll have to give thread ID. Okay. Yeah, as I said, it's gonna read the whole file and it's gonna come up with an answer. So it will take 10, 20, 30 seconds. It depends. Okay, so now we have executed the uh, thread or executed the run. Uh, Assistant has given back its message. So we retrieve all the messages, or we get the message list, and the top one or the 0th element in the list would be the latest message. So let's try to get sales message. is equal to client dot beta dot threads dot messages dot list, and we should be able to give him thread id cells thread dot id. I think this is all we have to give. Yeah, it doesn't look so good, um, but just to give you, so for message in sales messages, print message, and then I'm going to say print into, I don't know, 80. Yeah, I can see so many messages, but as an end user, I'm interested only in the last message. So let's display only this one for the user. Here I can say message dot content. Okay, let me just see what all things it displays. Dot, I think con dot data. Data is again, and I just want the last message dot content. I believe, yeah, this is the one I want. And I want message dot text dot value. Yeah, so this is what I want from my assistant, right? So I told him, I asked him a question, explain me, my financial sample file, and this is the output that has given me. And based on the data, these are some of the analysis I can do. Evaluate the total sale over time to identify trends, seasonal patterns, and growth rates. Okay, let's ask this particular question. Do a, okay, I'll ask him to do this one. Okay. Okay, this is going to be new thread now. Then I just wait until it completes. What I specifically wanted it to show it to you that it can create two different messages. So here um, we looked, the first message can be text message, or another message can be just an image of a graph. And what if we're gonna get a graph image? How are we going to display it? That's exactly what I wanted to show it to you. And that's why I took the second example. In Python, again, it would take another 20 lines of code to get a graph, put it out there and display it correctly. Here, I think we should be able to do it in 3 lines of code, hopefully. Yeah, it's taking some time to execute, but hopefully we should get it in less than 10 seconds or so. Okay, meanwhile, I'll just find out the code that we can use to display an image. So just meanwhile, I'll prepare myself. How can we display an image within Jupyter Notebook? So I think the code is import from Python dot display import image and markdown, and what else it can think that should be enough. Did it execute? Yeah, and most likely this is gonna fail. Yeah, so it says it has got two messages um, in an array, and it did not had a text message. So let's look what does this looks like. I'll just tell him don't print everything, just print a message here. Can you see? So it has given me a text and it has given me a file ID. So that means it has created an image, most likely a graph, and it has given me a graph return. And I should be able to display this graph. So how do I handle this particular thing? So let me say, so if you see the first, the message type is image file, and here the type is text. So this is how I can distinguish it. So let me say if message dot type equal to image file, then I'm gonna handle the image. The way you handle the image is described, I believe, in the code. Let's see. Uh, Tools, code interpreter, and it says reading images generated by code interpreter. Yeah, exactly. So it says if it returns you a file, just um, read it by client.files.content and give him a file ID, and then you can uh, put it into, this is how you can read it. So image data dot read. This is exactly what we'll try to use. Let me copy the code here and put it. But so image file and then image data is equal to what? Message dot image file dot file ID, right? File ID, perfect. That's going to be our image data, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just display it. Display image image data dot read. Okay, okay, for the time being let's remove this one. Whoa, it showed me graph, right? It looks too big. Let me change it to width is equal to, let's say, 600. Okay, or maybe 800. Yeah, year over year growth available data. You know, this looks good, right? So in the 9th month, this was the sale, 10th month, this was the sale, 11th month, 12th month. Yeah, Christmas holidays, right? Okay, and but what if it is a text message? So I also want to display the text message here, right? So, and then if I say else if message dot type equal to text, then I want to display the text, of course. Then print message dot text dot value, right? Okay, super. So it says it has displayed the graph, and then we have year over year growth, blah 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 blah. I'm most likely this is going to be a markdown, so let's, instead of print, let's call it as display, and I want markdown. I hope so. This is how it is. Yeah, super cool. Got it? I hope it helped you understand how do we use the code interpreter in Assistant API. And of course, you can loop this as many times as you want. Or again, maybe you can put it into while loop and you can keep on asking the questions. I hope you're able to get some takeaways from today's tutorial. So just to summarize, uh, if you want to use a code interpreter, if you want to talk, give the instructions to computer in a natural language, the best uh, product available out there, I think, is code interpreter in Assistant API. Um, it's so much powerful. You can do so much things with it. Um, I hope it fits for your use case. If you have any use case that you want me to implement, I'll be more than happy to work on it. If you have any questions, queries, concerns, as always, uh, get in touch. More than happy to help you. Until then, have a nice time. Ciao.